Alright guys, welcome back. Today we're going to start a new series that kind of encapsulates a lot of things I do anyway, and it's going to be called Current Events. Because there's always events running, and I tend to talk about the big ones, and I wanted to make sure that, I kind of have it all covered so that if people are looking for an event that occurred again, because they kind of tend to repeat, or, they, in 3 weeks, are like, what am I supposed to do with this event when it finally ends, then they can come back and consult this video. So, we're going to look at the Legend Rune customizing event briefly, but since it's not done, we're not going to dig into it too much. The only thing I want to touch on with this before we move on is, from where I'm recording right now, there are 19 days left. There'll be less when this is uploaded, but don't collect your rune until it's done. See, I've got 10,000 available points. I haven't done anything. I haven't picked a slot or a type or anything, because you could collect it and work on it throughout and kind of keep rolling it, I guess, but don't collect it, I guess, is the most important thing. I'm not going to roll it because I'm going to roll the entire thing at once so you guys can see my thought process as I roll it, but don't collect it. It's tempting. You'll get a rune that's really nice. Unless it's absolutely perfect, you have a chance to roll better. And the odds of getting that out of a pull from a farm is super, super, super low. So, pulling a rune that's 2 off perfect may seem like the greatest idea ever, but you might roll better, so give it the chance to do that. Feel free to roll it as much as you want. I tend to leave it to the end, but don't collect it. All right, that's all we're going to talk about the Legend Rune event because it's not completed yet. I want to roll it up. The other thing I want to talk about is the default 4-star monster skill up event. That's a lot to say. But basically, it just started. It's got a million days, 33 days left. It's going to last forever. You can collect 500 points a day, and you're going to get to skill up 4 skill ups for 4-star monsters. 5 skill ups for 4-star monsters. And then get all this cool stuff very slowly because it's a long event. So 500 points a day, 10,000 points. You need to do it for 20 days. So that's a lot. But the rewards are there and they're good. So just kind of keep going. Now, what monsters should you select? There's a couple of different decisions that I think are important to consider when you're thinking about this. Number one is what monster is most useful to you right now. I think that is absolutely number one on the list. So if you are somewhat early game and you've got a Lucian, that's a pretty good choice for a lot of things, PvE and PvP. So what monster is most useful to you? We'll talk about my choices here in a second. I think the only caveat to that is if that monster has fusible skill ups, then I would probably let that one go if you don't mind fusing. I think fusing is a great way to get skill ups. It's free. It just takes time, which this whole game takes time. Like if you don't want to fuse 4-star skill ups, you're probably not grinding the amount this game really wants you to grind, which isn't the end of the world, but it's a grindy game. 4-star skill ups should be no big deal, I think. I'm fusing 5-star skill ups for Baileygur and stuff to save Del 1. So monsters you really, really like and use all the time, I think are a great target. So let's take a look here. So in fire, Beretta is good, but he can fuse, right? So you don't need to do those. Verd you can get out of the guild shop, anything that comes out of the guild shop, and I believe he's fusible now as well. So a good monster, but not a great choice for this. Garrow is another good monster, but fusible, so again, leave him alone. Fire's kind of an interesting one. If you have one of these and use it for PvP, I think that's not a horrible idea, though they've been out for quite a while, so you might already have the skill ups. Commons are going to be very popular because they're great for PvE content and Guild Wars. Mainly Guild Wars, Guild content, Guild Siege, but I think Commune's going to be a good target. Fire Twins, Shayna is PvE-ish, and Maruna is PvP. Both pretty good, so they're both good choices there. Let's go into Water. So, Water has a couple of interesting choices. I don't know. Like, if you want to use him as a bomber, like if you don't have another bomber and use a Sierra, it's been a while since I've used him that way, but I remember when he was my main bomber to go a Sierra, I really wanted him to be, tippy top. Orion's another good choice for the same reason as Draco. He's really, really good in PvE content and needs those skill ups, very skill up hungry. Aegir, a lot of people are going to want those Aegirs. The only issue with Aegir is you can buy his skills from the guild shop. So if you skill up Aegir, just be aware that there is another way, and it's an okay way. It's slow, and if you don't want to wait, then I guess that's a good use. It's a little predictive, and I don't think it's correct, but there is a balancing patch probably coming soon. And if I had to guess, Aegir would be addressed, but who knows, right? So don't let that hold you back from getting a monster who's good, skilled up, and ready to go. Okay, so for me, Covenant would be a great one if you didn't get enough skill ups from the HOH. He's really good in PvP, but that's about it. So if you're not using him in PvP in that way, the Water Twins are probably two of the most valuable PvE monsters in the game right now. So I think they're absolutely deserving of skill ups there. So something to keep in mind. Let's look at Wind. So here's Wind. I don't know. To me, Undines have been skilled up for forever, but if you're using the Undine in the new rune farming content, you're going to want her max skilled, and that content's pretty difficult anyway. So I don't think that's a terrible idea. The only issue there is that it is fusible again, so probably should fuse, but that's a monster that I think a lot of people might use. I think Lucian is going to be used by a lot of newer-ish players within the last year or two because they just haven't gotten enough Lucians. But again, Lucian is fusible. It's weird how they kind of did a good job of giving you the skill ups you need that are fusible. So I gotta, give them props to that. But again, if you're impatient, just like the Aegir or whatever, you could do that, but I would kind of recommend against it. So a lot of people will be targeting those Lucians, but just kind of keep in mind that that might not be the best idea. Chasuna's kind of fallen off, but I think is really good for early and mid game. One of the best healers. Just healing in general has fallen off. Like, so many things can kill before a healer can take a turn, that healing's in kind of a weird spot in the game right now. So, she needs skill ups, so she's not a terrible target, I don't think. So, something to consider. Let's see here. The other Wind, Triana is fusible, but really, really good. Wind Twins are interesting. I think they're probably the last group of twins. But they have some uses, especially that speed lead skill in Guild Wars is kind of interesting. I think Skogul would have been a good target, but he has a 3-star, so, 3-star. Don't even bother. So other than that, there's not a ton of stuff that's really that hungry, which I think brings me to my next main point about this is LDs, LD 4s and 5s that don't quite fit those categories but are interesting and different would be, I think, really good targets, So if you have something random and crazy, like maybe you have this guy who's really cool and you just don't have the skills for it, that's a great target, LDs need skill ups and they're a little bit funky. Like, maybe you don't want to skill up any mermaids, but you have a Molly or a Betta, and you're like, okay, I'm definitely going to do that because they're rare and I need them, right? So that's the only other thing. Tableau, yes. I don't know that I would skill up any dice, but if I had Tableau, I'd skill them up. If I had Monty, I'd skill them up. So that's something to consider. Any LD 4-stars you have, don't forget about them. They are 4-stars, so they count. I'm sorry that the LD 5-stars that are basically functionally 4-stars, they don't count, so sorry. The other thing that's a bit of a bummer is all of my fellow Christina owners and I cannot use 4-star skill ups that she has in this way because you're directly skilling up the monster. It would be way better if you could summon a 4-star. I'd summon all the cannon girls, feed them to Christina, and then still complain about how bad she is, but that's not possible. Okay. The other thing I think is worth looking at in this event that I'm personally going to do is newer monsters are harder to skill up because they've been out less time and you've had less opportunity to summon their skill ups. So I think newer monsters, all things being equal, should be prioritized over older monsters because you're probably closer to skilling them up. So I'm doing kind of a combination just to kind of get into what I'm up to. I'm doing a combination of the things I've talked about. I'm doing LD 4-stars that are newer. I think newer monsters have a lower chance of being skilled up. So I've got my Hyannis here, and she's missing 2 skill ups. I think I got an HOH and mostly skilled her up, but she's missing 2 skill ups. And then I might do some of the other ones into the blue one that does Oblivion because that's really rare. But I'm definitely gonna finish her off. She's new. She's got the guild 24%. I'm not using her currently, but I think she could heavily benefit. The other monster that I guess is still in storage that I'm gonna skill up is by monster. No, let's do highest grade. Is a light monster who I've used a couple times. You've probably seen him. It's this guy Magnum. He's missing 3 skill ups here, and I used all my sniper skill ups in between, mostly on Covenant, and then I think he got the skill ups in the last Nat 4 skill up event because he was pretty new. He's an interesting monster. He has like one very specific use, but I think the more damage he does, the better, and so that's what he's going to do. So I'm thinking 3 into him, 2 into Hyannis, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, that's my plan. I'm doing new monsters, LD 4-stars. I'm kind of at the point where I don't have any essential monsters to skill up, so I'm skilling up fringe monsters. But this is a really great event. The fact that it can help you get free Devilmon, basically, and maybe for fringe monsters that you would never Devilmon, but you want to use. I think it's a really nice event for that. I would love if they had an event like this that worked for Second Awakening monsters, even if it was just one skill up every once in a while. Like, I'm not going to Second Awaken a skill up, and I'm probably not going to use a Devilmon for Second Awakening monsters. So let's get an event like that come to us. What do you guys think? I think that'd be really, really good. So that's my plan. I would say probably don't skill up your monster till the end of the event. Like, what if I pull back-to-back dryads, and then like 3 snipers in 30 days? It's possible. It's not probable, but it could happen. Then I would really regret my choices, right? So I'd say wait till kind of the very end, skill up whatever you think, and yeah, just give it some thought, because it's a pretty rare benefit for them to give to us. So anyway, that's it for this one. Hope you guys have good monsters you want to skill up, and this was useful in your thought process. And let me know what you're thinking, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.